What's going on YouTube? Heelys here, and today we are revisiting my Abzan combo deck, and if you don't know, this whole deck is based around Herald of Eternal Dawn, which says you can't lose the game and your opponent can't win the game. So you might be wondering why we're building around this. Well, for 6 mana, if you could use Perennation on the Herald of Eternal Dawn while it's in the graveyard, you could bring it back, and then you get to put a hexproof counter and an indestructible counter on it, which is pretty insane, because not only could you have a creature that will prevent you from losing the game and your opponent from winning the game, but you'll have protection on it in the forms of it can't be targeted and it can't be destroyed. So there's only so many cards that could get rid of the Herald of Eternal Dawn once it has these counters on it, and most of the time, once the Perennation resolves and you bring this out, your opponent is going to give up because there isn't that many ways to interact with it. I mean, some decks have more cards than others to interact with this, but if they can't, it's over. Even if we lose everything in our deck, we can't lose the game. So we could technically just keep on passing the turn if we're not swinging on our opponent for 6, and they'll eventually deck out. So that's the strategy. We try to get to 6 mana, make sure we have all 3 colors so we could use the Perennation, and we slightly ramp up with a bunch of cards. We're using the Terminus of Return from the new set on top of the Irencrag and the Llanowar Elves, so we could ramp up early, go into the Overlord, get all the mana that we're missing, and we even have board wipes to hold off the opponent. And once we get to 6 mana, we use Perennation, bring back the Herald, and the game should be over by then. So let's get right into this list. We got 4 Llanowar Elves, 4 Bitter Triumph, 1 Lively Dirge, 2 Resentful Revelation, 1 the Terminus of Return, 4 Collector's Vault, 1 the Irencrag, 4 Day of Judgment, 4 Overlord of the Hauntwoods, 4 Perennation, 1 Overlord of the Mistmoors, 4 Herald of Eternal Dawn, 1 Virtue of Persistence, and for the lands we got 1 Plain, 1 Forest, 1 Bleachbone Verge, 4 Godless Shrine, 2 Blooming Marsh, 2 Hushwood Verge, 4 Sandsteppe Citadel, 2 Fountainport, 4 Multiversal Passage, and 4 Starting Town. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and if you're new here, just know I have new videos coming out every day, and if you want to become a member, you can get early access to videos. Let's get right into these games. Not too bad for a start. We go turn 1 Llanowar Elves, then turn 2 Terminus of Return. You just want to get a bunch of mana quickly, so once we see our Angel plus the Perennation, we could just do our combo very early and lock our opponent out from winning the game. There's the Perennation. All we're missing now is the Angel. I'm forgetting the name already. Herald of Eternal Dawn. So we'll answer the Tifa right now. I know technically I could have went for the Terminus, but it's all good. This is actually perfect. Let's play this. We'll play the Terminus of Return. Now we have 4 mana. We'll now put in the Herald of Eternal Dawn in our graveyard. That's the only reason why we're playing the Lively Dirge, so we could just dump it from deck to graveyard. It's pretty convenient once you have the Perennation in your hand. So if they don't get rid of any of our Llanowar Elves or interact with the Terminus of Return, then we're gonna... Okay, we're totally fine. I'm not even worried. Oh no! Now we have to draw land. And we draw the land. How convenient. So now we bring out our Herald, and I'm sure they're not going to be able to win from this point onward. They're still going to try, though. Well, all we have to do from this point onward is to swing, and they could hit us as many times as they want. It's not going to matter. I especially think a mono green deck doesn't have an out for the Herald. It's like, yeah, normally we would have lost, but, you know, we're just chilling. Okay, all we're missing is the Herald of Eternal Dawn, and yeah, we're doing pretty good besides that. We got our turn 1 Llanowar Elf, which is always nice. It's 1 mana closer to 6, so the Firebrand could just take out the Elf. That's not nice. Go right into Collector's Vault. You could argue I should be holding up the Bitter Triumph, but I'd like to be able to produce all those tokens, cycle through our deck a little bit, because we need to get to our combo. Because Bitter Triumph is only going to hold them off for so long. Interesting how they didn't do anything that turn. Probably have some Burst Lightning, Lightning Strike. One of the two. Maybe Shock. Screaming Nemesis. Yeah, just a little mouse. And a Bolt Wave, very fancy. That's fine. Well, if that isn't the perfect draw right now. So all we have to do is survive one more turn. Okay, so hear me out. We go to 11. We hold up Bitter Triumph. Plus we produce our next mana. Because we use Collector's Vault to make the token, and Bitter Triumph for something that's insanely pumped up. I mean, sure, you could argue I shouldn't have even played the Godless Shrine untapped, and I would have been at 13. But just in case there's a ridiculous amount of damage I could be taking from one of their creatures, we could hold up the Bitter Triumph as insurance. It is risky, yeah, but if they pump up Challenger to like 4 or 5 attack, then I think it is justified. They're thinking. Okay, so we go to 7. And now we set up for the Perennation, and it should be over at this point. So overpowered. Just reading it, they're like, wait a minute. Indestructible and hexproof? It's great because a lot of the meta can't answer it. There's only so many cards that could get around this. Like, imagine like a Summon Leviathan, which could bounce a bunch of creatures, so that would get around the Herald. So there's certain cards, but for a mono red deck in particular, there's not going to be much. I feel like any deck that could play like blue, or even there's that 5-drop white board wipe that exiles, that could work, you know, so there's certain things. So now we don't care about our life total, we're just going to play the Overlord and we're just going to be swinging out. That's fair. I'm surprised they're still playing the game out, though. When you play this deck, you have to have infinite patience anyway, so even if they don't give up immediately, we just either start swinging with Herald every turn, and let's say they could block the Herald every turn, if they, let's say, had a really powerful flyer, and we're just in a standstill, well, you could just deck out your opponent. You just get really comfortable in your chair or wherever you're sitting or standing, and you just, you know, you just have to play the long game, because if they can't answer the card, they might be like, oh yeah, I'll just waste this guy's time, you know, and maybe he'll give up instead of playing out the game. But we don't have that mindset. We're here all the way till the end, no matter how long the game takes. That's the kind of mindset you're going to need to have with a deck like this once you establish this almost unbeatable combo. If there was a way to prevent it from being bounced by something that doesn't target or exiled by something that doesn't target, then yeah, it would be an unbeatable combo. Opponent's going first. I'm going to keep this. All we need is a Perennation plus a way to discard the Herald. Oh, okay. Now we just need a card to discard the Herald, and then we're good. This is an interesting choice for me. I could go for the Elf to help set up for a Day of Judgment, but you know what? I think I'm going to keep my my life total at 20. The whole mindset is, in this matchup, I'm going to probably have to Day of Judgment anyway, so the Llanowar Elves is going to get, you know, destroyed either way. Oh, there's a way to discard the Heralds. That's actually really good. So this is the move. I'm gonna hold up the Bitter Triumph for later, because our opponent's doing stuff like this, which is totally fine. It's not the most damage at the end of the day, but we just set up for the Day of Judgment for next turn. So this will enter tapped, and we'll go from there. Okay. All we're missing is the Perennation, and we're good. Well, of course, we have to discard the Herald or somehow get in the graveyard, so it's the only thing we're missing. Gonna get rid of this immediately before they start bringing out a million creatures. Yeah, I could have went for the Overlord, but yeah, they would have been able to scry a bunch if I let that creature stay on the board. Another one. That'd be crazy if they play a third quest caller. Well, I guess that works. My god. You would think I have enough Herald of Eternal Dawns in my hand, right? But in all reality, if I could find one more land and just start flashing these in every turn, it sounds ridiculous, but it's a good strategy. What is going on here? Okay. This is actually really funny. I did not want this game to end up in the situation that we're in, but it just makes up for the fact that the Herald of Eternal Dawn is very flexible, because no one's going to expect this 7-drop to be flashed in randomly right now. This guy's like, what is going on right now? Although they could have another Get Lost and then deal with it, which is possible. But they would have used it before we went to blockers, so far so good. That is so funny. Our opponent is going to hate us next turn. Oh, look at that. Well, no Herald in the graveyard. Yet, of course. So they're going to just keep on trying to resolve the Buster Sword once it swings. But once again, another Herald. And you gotta love that it's not a legendary creature, so if I get to get rid of that bunny, which it looks like I am, I get back the Herald, and now I got 2. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Tell me what you think of the deck in the comments section down below. Please like the video and subscribe if you have not already, and if you're new here, just know I have new videos coming out every day. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.